Brian Wlazlo grew up in Northwest Indiana, graduated from Indiana University, ambitiously pursued a career in politics. Oh, there we go. And worked on politics and communications and worked on Capitol Hill. After learning all of that was a whole bunch of soul-sucking craziness, he moved up to New York City and fully embraced a career in hospitality, where his soul has been much happier. He has worked for nearly 10 years behind bars throughout Manhattan, and in 2013 moved back to Chicago, where he has worked on bar programs at Nico Osteria, The Publican, and Bangers and Lace, and currently serves copious amounts of dirty martinis at Gibson's Italia. Brian, step on up and tell us, where do we start?
Hello. There's this guy that comes into my bar. His name's Joe. Actually, his full name is Average Joe. It's happy hour on a Thursday, so the bar is loud and crowded. Average Joe is exhausted from a full day of conference calls and TPS reports. His new watch will not stop buzzing with text messages, Facebook notifications, retweets, Instagram DMs, or headlines from the New York Times saying how Donald Trump has just nominated his Mar-a-Lago caddy to be the ambassador to South Korea. And I just handed him a book, a binder of 20-plus craft cocktails, microbrews, and artisan wines. Average Joe really just wants a drink. He's overwhelmed by options, doesn't know where to start. Let's assume, for the sake of the remaining 90 seconds, that Average Joe does not feel like a frosty cold one or a glass of wine. Average Joe wants a proper cocktail. That's a lot of cocktails. I often get asked, what's your favorite drink, or what do you like to make? And on behalf of bartenders all throughout Chicago, I can tell you that our answer to both is a shot. So unless you want to start your evening with some Malort, we need to come up with a different game plan. 95%, to cut through all this noise, we start with one very important question. Are you in the mood for something boozy and stirred, or citrusy and shaken? 95% of drinks, whether they're classic or something original, fall into one of these two categories. On the boozy and stirred side, you have Manhattans, Old Fashions, Vespers, Negronis, Toronto cocktails, Fluffy Ruffles, and White Martinis. On the citrusy and shaken side, there's margaritas, daiquiris, last words, particularly good with mezcal, fresh sheets, Southside Pegu Club, or a Gold Rush. Average Joe has decided that he wants to get his buzz on early, so he has gone with boozy and stirred. Last question. Is there anything we should stay away from? Average Joe really hates scotch. It makes him gag on the smell of it and reminds him of drinking from an ashtray. So boozy and stirred, but no scotch. The Brooklyn. The Brooklyn is a great cocktail, built similar to Manhattan, with rye whiskey, dry vermouth, maraschino liqueur, and Amir pecan, stirred and served up and garnished with a cherry. Average Joe takes a sip, his shoulders relax a bit, and he's ready to enjoy the rest of his evening. Cheers and happy drinking.